This the last time I answer a DM from a programmer. Said he had a big old package from me like he was Santa. Pulled his pants down, and I swear I saw a phantom, the smallest peen I've ever seen, like a pubic hair, thin, nudely unseen. And he said, I'm not like the others, the length of my brain is what matters. And I said, okay, that's fine, I don't care. And he said, I'll show you what I've been working on. He's working with Rust, AI, and React. What a loser, sad to see, with a small PP. At least you see, memory safety is only as good as you can be. You're a tool. How you program a whole algorithm to run, but can't get a real one done. I mean, why? So disappointing, it leaves me dry, with the longing for a real programmer, not a guy who can't manage memory, always in need of AI assistance like a sidekick indeed. No intimacy, just a moisturized hand, avoiding keystrokes, using abstractions to stand. You hide the truth that you can't code with ease, can't ship a binary load, cannot please. What a dark and lonely road you roam, shipping sloppy code, harder, faster, back home, full of brain rot, a glorified plumber. Your only valid claim, but admit it, you can't code, it's all just a game. He's working with Rust, AI, and React. What a loser, sad to see, with a small PP. At least you see, memory safety is only as good as you can be. You're a tool. You're a tool. How do? Oh, oh. Yeah. Walking down the street with my honeys, looking all nice like Playboy bunnies. I stumble on a man, I say sorry. He looks me up, down, says don't worry. Asks me for a date, I say yes. Hands me his business card with finesse. The card's a URL to a website. He says my number's on that page, see it tonight. Front-end developers like to put on shows, flash UI, but performance never grows. Give their junk a touch, it explodes. The likelihood of pleasure no one knows. Erectile dysfunction is the true game. 2 pumps on the mouse, limp shame. Their sites load longer than they could ever last. I get home with the card clutched in hand. Get on my laptop and on the URL I land. Fancy loading
Sup, folks? Think I'm all ready.
made with React, didn't realize my fate. 20 minutes later, it's still spinning.
All right, I'll turn the music off. Think I'm set up. My screen seems to be showing. It's going to be a bit of a chill stream. Nothing too crazy going on. I'm not going to be on for like too long. I'm not going to do like, many hours. I'll do an hour or two and kind of show what I'm doing on the game. Cause it's been a while. So I've been doing the daily tech streams, which have been fun. Just covering the news on Daily Tech. But tonight, I thought what I would do is work on building out some of the maps for the world. Yeah. This map is not correct. There's a few things that need to get fixed. So, just chill. It's just a chill, whatever, stream, doing whatever. You're welcome to ask questions or, here, I think it's in this function. Yeah. Or if you want me to explain what I'm up to or whatever, happy to do it. So right now, I've got this error. Try to get layer coordinate greater than width. And, oh, I see. Oh, it's functioning the way it should. Oh, I get it. Okay, so today I just kind of quickly plugged away on, well, let me take a step back. As the title of the stream says, I am building a video game on the browser. I have this C code. It compiles to WebAssembly. Then I take that WebAssembly and I render the game on the DOM with just div elements. There's no WebGPL, blah. There's no WebGL, no WebGPU, no canvas. The Canary version of Chrome is running right now because I've turned off hardware acceleration. Everything is vanilla. So vanilla HTML, vanilla CSS, vanilla JS. There are no frameworks, no NPM libraries, nothing of the sort. I've got, well, I did have CSS 3D working, but I think with the recent upgrades, I've broken it. But on, there we go. Yeah. So I've got CSS 3D, vanilla CSS in 3D mode. So that's what we have. I have worlds that I'm creating, which are grids. So if you look at the viewport right here, you can kind of make out, I'm not sure how well it comes across on screen, but you can make out on the screen, hopefully, that the entire viewport is sliced up into grids. And I set the size of the viewport. I think right now it's 14 by 14. Yep, that's what it is. And each grid has a value, right? So if you look here, layer set value gives the ability for you to set a value for any coordinate, any XY coordinate in the grid. So you can imagine a few grids layered over top of each other. If you were to look at it in 3D, they would just be stacked on top of each other. Right? So just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you'd punch down into the general coordinate. And regardless of your layer, you're going to end up in the same place in the viewport. Depending on your camera, you're going to make an adjustment to end up in the right place in the world, which is different than the viewport. And then you're going to pass in the XY, which is just your grid coordinate value, and then an actual value. Now, this is called the tile value. This is on the C code. So the tile value is literally one of these numbers. I compile this to WebAssembly, and then I map those numbers against some kind of coordinate. It could be whatever I want in an atlas file. And an atlas file is just a batch of tiles. Let's see if I can pop this open. Yeah. And we'll go like this, and we'll go atlas. It's a whole bunch of tiles, but in one file. So I created this thing because it helps me to see the, whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. It helps me to see the coordinates that I want to reference. So it's quite a indirect thing, but you can imagine that like the value 100 in the C code here is meant to be like the top right edge of a square block of land, for example. You have to take 100 or whatever the value is. Then you have to go over to your JavaScript side. Your JavaScript is going to ask what value is at this coordinate in the grid. And then WebAssembly will return a value. And then you're going to map that to a value that matches an asset or a tile that you want to render in that coordinate space. So this is what this mapping's for. It reads out of the WebAssembly. When it sees 100 or 105 or whatever it is, it's going to say, okay, well then I want to take the portion of the atlas over here at coordinates, whatever they might be, and I'll take like a 32 by 32 cropping of the entire image, whatever that is, and then I'll render it on a div element as a background image. So if I go and look at over here, there's a background image with a position and a width and a height, and so it just crops the entire background image and places it at that position, starting point position, up to 32 width across and 32 down, and then you get your different tiles that are out here. So because I'm at the point where I'm trying to create maps, so this is a port. The game is essentially you sailing around the world, and you build a fleet of ships and you sail around the world. It's based on an old Super Nintendo game, which is my favorite game of all time, called Uncharted Waters New Horizons. I'll pull it up right here just so you can see kind of what I'm referencing here. Hello? There we go. Oh, flashbang, sorry. But this is the game. It's a Super Nintendo game. I thought it was wildly creative for the limitations of the hardware. You have 6 characters that overlap each other. Here are the 6 characters. You can replay the game as any character. You build a fleet of ships. Each ship has its own management system. You have to have crew for each ship. You have to assign them, like how many are on cannons, how many are on handling the ship. There's different stats for the ships themselves. What kind of sails do you have? What kind of hull do you have? When you go out sailing out in the world, you have to make sure you have enough water, enough repair material, enough cannonballs for a fight. There's a trading system. You go into the port, and each port has its own set of like unique things that you can purchase for that part of the world, and then you can go to a different port and sell it for a higher price. And then there's like taxes and tariffs and global influence depending on which kingdom you're aligned with, or you could just be a pirate. There's all kinds of stuff. This game was insanely complicated. So that is the essence of the game, with my own twist, which in a future stream I'll talk about the storyline a bit, because there's definitely some aspects of the storyline that need to be sorted out. But that's what I'm recreating on the browser here, with some additional things. Obviously, I want to make it my own, right? And the issue that I'm trying to just essentially kind of write some code for is editing the map. So I have some tools up here where I can do something like, let me go grab, let's say layer 1, and then I'm going to pull the value out of layer 1. And it's going to give me the value here, and then I can go and like figure out what 104 means, and I can kind of go through the atlas here and pick a coordinate space and then apply the value into the map, and that's all great. But this is quite manual. That's see, and I can set it down. That's quite manual. Hey Pure, hope you're doing well, Pure. Hey, Adam. Damn, Adam. I came in to say cool hoodie, but then I aged for years reading the entirety of the marquee at the top of the stream. That's how I pull you in. That's That's my little trick, Adam. It's my little trick, and it works. I pulled you in, and I kept you in. Came in hook, line, and sinker. That's the attention economy, baby, and I'm making the bucks. With the simple marquee. Good to see you, Adam. Hope you're doing well, man. By the way, Adam, just so you know, I watch your streams like every single day. It has become it's become a morning ritual to wake up, make my coffee, turn on Adam Learns Live, and just watch you plug away at the game. So for all the 4 viewers I have on my stream, here you go. Shout out to Adam. You should definitely be watching him. He's building a cool game called, oh man, I'm going to butcher the pronunciation, but I'm going to do it off the top of my head to prove that I'm not lying and that I actually watch your stream and I care about your game. Skeleseller. Oh, I don't know. I think I botched it. But he's got it on Steam. Wishlist it. Go check it out. It's really cool. Definitely 100%. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, definitely go check him out. He's great. Now he does use C#, all right? He uses C#. Yes, the hoodie was a ploy, but it worked. But we'll give him a pass because he's a cool guy. Achievements just keep rolling in, yeah? Can't stop winning, can you, Adam? So yeah, on the Twitch side, because there's people who are watching on like X and YouTube and Rumble and stuff right now because I multi-stream. But definitely I would highly recommend Adam Learns Live on Twitch. It's just a super chill, wholesome thing to watch. So yeah, thanks for being here, Adam. I appreciate it. Okay, so I was just saying that. Hang on, Adam. My opinion: C# is a symptom of a broken tech industry, as is coding. Damn. In fact, I don't even use a computer anymore. You play Skeleseller by slamming animal bones together. I thought it was smoke signals. Isn't it smoke signals? Isn't it the old punch cards? That's what I thought it was. It's the old punch cards, right? That's what I thought it was. Man. Clearly I don't watch your stream enough. How's the game coming along? Hey, MyTech. Yeah, it's coming along great. I was just kind of going over what I'm working on tonight. And then I had Adam come on. Punch cards are too front end for me. Yeah. You don't too many rounded borders on the punch cards, right? Yeah. I know what you mean, Adam. It's too low to slow, I know. MyTech on YouTube, good to see you. It's been a while. I was just kind of going over really briefly what I'm trying to do here. I'm almost done. So I have this editor system where I can it's literally just setting a background image on a div element as I apply a value, and that's great. But I'm literally just clicking once on everything. It's kind of annoying. Now, this is good for small tests, like when I want to piece together a few things and if I have the right value set up and everything, it's great because I can kind of beta test a layout. But what I really want to be able to do is go over to my game, go over to my C code, and in C, run a function when I generate a world that plops in all, that sounded so... plop, right? It squeezes out all the right values in the right XY coordinates. So when I read it, I can just read it the same way I would anything else. But I have a function that will literally take a starting XY coordinate and a size XY and just fill in the values and deterministically figure out what are the boundaries of the thing I'm trying to set. So when I'm talking about like land, this here, why it looks so stupid, is because I attempted to do something where I set XY, a starting point of XY, a size of XY, and then it will literally go, okay, well, given that, I know I'm going to need a top left, top right, left edge, center, right edge, bottom left, bottom right, and it will fill in according to my size the entire thing, and it went wrong. So that's essentially where I'm at right now. We're building out worlds and maps, and I just got to fix a few of these things. And yeah, just thought it'd be fun to do a chill stream for a little bit. And yeah, the only hole punch I'll use is a star-shaped one. Good to see you too, my tech. Oh, Piers watched. Nice. Me too, Adam. Your voice is unintentional ASMR. Yeah, it is. It really is. Yeah, Adam has a good ASMR voice. I agree. I completely agree. Have I heard of auto tiles? I have. I have purposefully, because you know me, Adam. Like, you know me. I'm pretty crazy. I'm pretty insane. I am purposefully setting myself a restriction where I cannot rely on secondary tools. That's why I've turned off hardware acceleration on the browser. It's an intentional, I have to do this by hand in the hardest way I can possibly think of to see how far I can push the envelope before I like reach a wall where I you know. So I am trying to avoid, you know, any tertiary tools if or secondary tools, if that makes sense. This banner is offensive. Remove Rust immediately. Hey Sergeant, how you doing? Yeah, I purposefully put up Rust there because I need more viewers on Twitch, and I know you're good for it, Sergeant. It's kind of like calling the ghost whatever. There's some Halloween thing, you say the Bloody Mary or something in the mirror 3 times, so kind of like that, Sergeant. So just +1 viewers, I win. I was thinking you could roll your own auto tiles. It's an aesthetic choice as much as a coding one, though. Right. So that is, I haven't ruled it out. Yeah, if you're talking about rolling my own, I have not ruled it out, Adam. It's fair, and I have had a couple of people in chat help me take the, or help me come up with a way to take the atlas tiles here, and like, let me just go down to the right thing here, like these, and come up with a way to like deterministically piece together all the different ways that something would come together if you give it like a starting point and then let it build out. So like auto tile. So that I think if that's what you're talking about, then I take back everything I said. And yes, it would be something I would want to code myself. I'd want to push myself to not rely on another tool to do that for me. And yeah, perfect. Yeah. I would want to do it myself and figure it out. So there, it's on the table. I haven't said no to doing it myself, rolling my own, getting help from chat like I have, and they came up with some kind of systems. I can't remember exactly how it works because it's been a while, but like you have to have the tiles so that they're situated correctly in the right place in the atlas, and then you have like a deterministic program or function that like pulls it together. Anyways, yeah. I'm conjuring framework ghosts and rust spirits. Hey, not you. How you doing? Yeah. Are you allowing yourself to make tools outside of the game? Technically speaking, to some degree, yes. However, any tool that exists outside of the game must first be a like exhibit A part of the game. So as an example, my C code, this is like the most fundamental aspect of the game. My C code, because it compiles to WebAssembly, it means that I can take the exact same C code or that WebAssembly, and I can run it for a different rendering mechanism outside of the browser, which I actually have done on, I can't remember if I still have it on this. Yeah, I've done it here on the server version when I had multiplayer working. It would literally take the C code that I compiled to WebAssembly, and instead of running it on a browser, it runs it on a server. It's the exact same C code, but now what it does is it coordinates that game state with a bunch of different players. So that is technically an external tool because the C code acts as a game state manager. It doesn't actually care about what your assets are, what your strings are, what your translations are, what your UI looks like. It cares nothing about that. All it cares about is inputs and outputs. So even when I have something like a menu system like this isn't run by WebAssembly. This is all HTML, JavaScript. The only thing WebAssembly cares about is, are you in a menu? So pause things that are going around in the game. And when I click on one of these buttons at the end of an action, what is the action? So if I go buy, use, ship, WebAssembly still doesn't care. I'm in the screen. I could render it however I want. But when I actually click buy, that's when WebAssembly cares. So in a way, it's kind of like a tool, but it's built in as like a core component of the game. I can extract that part of the game and run it somewhere else completely separately. And so then I can do the same thing with my JavaScript code. So there are some JavaScript rendering things, components here, like my request animation frame stuff. It's just a simple rendering mechanism. It's technically kind of like a tool. I can take this and reuse it somewhere else. My grid layout system where I'm like doing this and laying down tiles, that's an editor tool. But these are all, the restriction I've placed is that all these tools that I create must be first-class citizens of the game I'm trying to create, because the primary goal is get the game made and then see how far I can push all that, beyond it, right? So hopefully that answers your question. I have to fix the ocean animation. I broke it. I really broke it pretty bad when I switched tile sizes. Okay, these are all the... I bet you sailing is also broken. It is. The auto movement still works and the directions still work, but my assets are all borked because I went from 64 by 64 to 32 by 32. So I got to resize a bunch of these. Okay, that's fine. So that's what I'm trying to do here is in my C code, I create the world. I think it's down here. Yeah, I generate a world. I switch between the worlds that I want to generate. So I might have Murica, which is another port. I have Dingus Land for the ocean battles. I have Athens, which is what we're in now, and that's where I'm at. I need to... At this point, when I'm creating the layers and the values inside of each square in the layer, for each layer, for the world, for the port, whatever it is, I have a function somewhere here. Where'd it go? Not here. Here we go. Generate asset land. So this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to abstract away a bit of the code so it's less repetitive and reusable. So let's have a look. So there's two things that I'm noticing. So when I generate asset land, I'm going to give it a starting coordinate, which in this case is just 0, 0. And you can see up top here, these numbers right here, they'll get updated because as I hover my mouse over coordinates, the world X and the world Y will update, and the viewport X and the viewport Y will update. And as I move to the right, for example, the camera offsets the world position because obviously I'm in a different place in the world, but the same place in the viewport. So I have this way to determine. So I start at 0, 0, and then I want to go 30 tiles down and 30 tiles over. I want to generate like a square block of land, and the center point would be right here, one of these, like 56, 77, I think. And then I'd pull in the edges, sides, corners, top and bottom, and I would just auto-generate that by applying the values of those assets directly in the function, generating the layer values so that when I compile this to WebAssembly, all the values are there and I don't have to like constantly put in the values by hand because that started to get annoying. So I just got to figure out two things. One being when I run this for loop, there are cases where I'm exceeding the bounds of the world. That's why I get all these errors up here. So I got to fix that. And then the other thing I need to do is actually map some of these values properly. These are not showing up correctly because I'm using 100, for example, or something, 105 or something like that, but it's the wrong atlas coordinate. So I'm just going to plug away on that. Why does Athens get to keep its actual name? Why can't you rename Dingusland back to Florida? That gives me an interesting idea. Dingusland might become a port in my game that has a hidden lore. You have to talk to an old man, and the old man tells you some... No. You land in port, and anybody else you talk to besides the old man will tell you not to talk to the old man because he's crazy. So, of course, you're going to go talk to the old man. You talk to the old man, and he tells you that a long time ago, his great ancestors used to call Dingusland Florida. Can the old man talk at one character per minute like your marquee? Yes. Yeah. I think that would actually be appropriate for old man. As at the ripe old age of 41. I can agree with this. Have a good night, Pure. Thanks for popping in. It's good to see you again. Yeah, I think I like that. I think I like the marquee. Really old. You have to sit there and like push the button to get through one character at a time. And it's like listening to anybody else. I like that idea. You bet the marquee is actually a marquee tag wrapped in React. I hate to break it to you, but it's OBS. So unfortunately, that means Python, which probably means Rust somehow found its way in there. Somehow it found its way in there. I don't know how, but if it's using Python, then it's probably also using Rust somewhere. I hate to say it, but whatever. So this is kind of strange. Tile value top left is 100. 100 is ocean. But that's not what's being rendered here. Ocean is not being rendered here. What's being rendered here, like this top corner, should be an ocean. I wonder. OBS web source, yeah. Isn't that the asset land function drawing stuff on top of the ocean, or am I going nuts? So the asset land function is setting values on whatever layer I tell it to, and in this case, it's layer 1, which is over the background layer. The background layer is all ocean. Layer 1 becomes whatever land asset is generating. And then these values get mapped. So if you see like tile value top left is 100, then 100 gets mapped to apparently the ocean coordinate of inside of my atlas image. But that's not what's actually being rendered. So this is actually a little bit confusing. It's supposed to be if we're at the top edge and we're at the left edge, then it's a corner. And so that should be calculate position relative to center. Is this why? Yeah, this is why. Wait, is it? Yeah, okay, okay. I think this is why. I think my math is wrong. Let me just try this. I've got to go compile this. Then there we go. That's better. And it fills up more of the map, right? Because this map is 100 by 100. It felt a little bit small. Now it's looking the correct size. Okay, so this is correct. There we go. So that is what I would expect to see with a bad mapping of the atlas tiles versus the tile values. Like the atlas image, these image coordinates versus the values that are coming out of the tiles. So this is better. We're back on track. So I just got to fix these mappings here. My issue is going to be, do I want to be changing all these over here, or do I want to change them here? I think I want to change them. All right, let's just see if we can get this looking correctly first. So top edge, so top 103, top right would be 109. Let's see how this looks. I want to compile. Oh yeah, that looks way better. Now we're cooking. Yeah. Okay, this is gonna make life a lot easier then. Okay, so let's just get the right ones in here. We'll go left edge, which is 104. We'll go center, which is 101. We'll go right, which is 10. That's correct, 105. Bottom left corner is 106. Bottom is 102. And bottom right is 107. With that in mind, do another compile. Boom. There we go. That's it. We did it. Okay, that's great. I gotta get going. Good luck terraforming the whole world, including Florida. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Sounds good, Adam. Yeah, I will see you tomorrow morning for sure. I got work I gotta do in the morning, so I will definitely be lurking in the background, man. Every day. Daily ritual. Have a good night, Adam. Okay, that's great. So I can just kind of expand on this now and create pretty much. All right, so I kind of have two decisions. Well, I kind of have two branches I could follow here. One thing I could do is create a new C function for each type of asset that I would like to create this way. So it could be, well, let me have a look here. What else could I do? I mean, I could do buildings this way. I could just do like square buildings this way. I could do maybe houses, I guess, like specific houses. I could do it. Overworld, when you're sailing around, I could do the same thing. Yeah. So I could do that. Or I could create a generic function that does exactly the same kind of math that this does, which is just a starting point, top left corner, start, give me a size, down and across, and then I can use constants for these values and just pass in an argument for the kind of asset that I want to use. and it'll just adjust the tile values based on what I want to create. That's probably a good idea. Having said that, however, I am almost positive that I don't have another use case for it now. So I'm not going to tackle it right this second. Because even with buildings, you can see that they're not square. They're like poly-shaped, polygonal, right? So there's here. Let me pause. Here. So there's 1, 2, 3, but not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's using 3 out of 5 in the top row. Then it's using 5 in the second row, 5 in the third, 5 in the fourth, 5 in the sixth. So it's not an evenly shaped, like it's poly-shaped. So I can't use the exact same function. If I was gonna do something here, I'd want to do something like, let me go down here and I'll do void generate asset building, I guess. And it would be the same thing. Layer ID, start X, start Y, size X, size Y. But depending on the type of building that I'm generating, I'm going to want a different layout of grid values. So you can imagine something like X is representative of empty. Then you'd have 1, 2, 3, or whatever tile value is appropriate, then X. Then you'd have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then down here, you're going to have an edge. So 9. Then you're going to have 10 as like a center point. Because like, look at this, right? If you go, well, I got to pause it again. Otherwise it doesn't work. If you go here, this is repeat. So you're going to have 3 repeat tiles, which means 10 gets repeated 3 times. Then you're going to go 11 for the right edge. And then you're going to do the exact same thing twice. And then you're going to do 12, 13, 14 for the door, 15, 16, 17. This, I don't like the way this is laid out. This also needs to go like this. Just my OCD brain is like, can't line that up. Okay, so this is what we would need to replicate this guy over here. And then what we could do is play around with this, where if you passed in something like like door, let's take it the door, right? What if you don't want to have a wooden door there? What if you want to have like a variation on the wooden door? Well, then you could just pass in I don't know, like some extra parameter. If wooden door 2 as parameter, then 14 equals some other number. Now that I'm saying that, though, I don't like that because WebAssembly doesn't care. WebAssembly does not care whether you're going to render a wooden door or a glass door or a steel door. It only cares about an asset that belongs there. Okay, so I think I've got it then. This function will generate this function will generate this style of a building, let's say, or some other style of a building with this layout. That's fine. Then what you do is you add in an override asset function. Functions, plural. And it's going to be something like override asset building entry, right? And depending on what you put in here, some parameter in here, it's going to do layer set value, whatever the XY is, and some alt value. So you can always just choose for yourself what you want to override, but you always have a default starting point. Because ultimately what this ends up becoming is a flat array of data. And you can, at any point, just point to a particular index in that array and say, I want this index to be a different value. So you start with some default values, and then you just have some helper functions that make it easy for you to override, like which door you want to show, or like if you want to show a window, or things along that line. Okay, that should work. Yeah, that should work out just fine. Okay, so then what we can do is, if I want to tackle roads, so it'd be void generate generate road, I guess. So this is where the whole auto tile thing starts to come into effect. You essentially need to have a way to the dummy version, right? The grug brain caveman style version of what you're trying to do. I want to just pass into a function a starting point and an ending point, and have my roads automatically laid out for me by the function. So I would start X, start Y, end X, end Y. Nope. I did that completely wrong. There we go. And then at somewhere in here, you would determine a path from start to end that was non-blocking, and then layout, layer set value, road tile value, whatever it is. You would have to determine when things needed to be corner tiles. Okay, so if you can imagine that I had a road coming down here. Well, actually, you don't have to imagine it. I can just go pull the value from layer 1. I want this. And then I want to go set the value and go like, can I do that? What happened? Is it layer 2? Pull the value. Ah, there it is. Set it. Okay, there we go. So if you can imagine a road coming down here, if this is rotated correctly, and then this guy, right where I'm standing right now, this guy has to be a corner tile, and it's got to be the bottom left corner. So we need to determine things like when we're going to make a change in direction, put in a corner tile. Yeah. And then there's 2 criteria on top of that. So one is non-blocking. We have that. So for example, you should not be able to do what I'm about to do, which I think will work and shouldn't work. There you go. You shouldn't be able to do this, where the road goes over top of the building. My character can't go over top of it because it's a blocking tile. So I can't step over the building. which means that I shouldn't be able to set a road tile down here. So that's one condition that the function needs to take into account. And fortunately, we have all kinds of helper functions for determining whether a coordinate is blocked by another tile in that layer or in other layers. And we can sort that out. That's not a problem. What is a problem though is what if, yeah, let me reload. So I've got an empty, I've got two lanes here that I could choose to start with. I'm going to pull the value from layer 2. It's going to be this guy. Then I'm going to set the value. So I could choose to start over here, which leaves me with one extra space here between myself and the building. Or I could start up here where I am now, which leaves no space. But if I start where I just put down the tile and then I continue my way down here, I need a way to determine if I want to fill up this side, or do I just keep everything one lane? And for roads, I'm kind of thinking I want to pass in a parameter where I'd want to pass in like a girth parameter. Yeah, that's what we're going to call it. Girth. And then girth determines how many lanes on a road. So if you set the girth to 2, you want like a really girthy road. It's going to start over here, and then it's going to fill up 2. And then down here, it's going to go all the way down to here. And then wherever the ending point is, it'll just keep trying to like figure itself out and snake around until the ending point. So that's great. When it hits a blocker, like on the building here, and let's say I picked 3 as the girth, it will simply just not lay it down. It will just fill up as much as it can that's non-blocking. Girth determines how many lanes on a road. We'll skip blocked chords. That's it. That's all it's going to do. And then now we have yet another problem. Which is, let me pull the value out of this guy and let me set the value. And let's say I have a house there and a house there, and that's it. That's all I have. Now what I have to decide is, given that I can go this way and this way and this way, how do I get closest to my ending point? There's some initial eliminations I can do where my ending point is going to necessarily determine that a particular path is going to lead to more tiles, and I probably just want to opt for the shortest path from start to end. So if my ending point is over here, I can basically remove going up or down and just keep going straight. If my ending point is somewhere over here, then I'd have to follow both paths through to the ending point and see which path has the smallest number of tiles that I need to place down for the road to get to the end. And same with over here. I think this would be easy over here. You would just eliminate the top 2. You'd only go this way. That would be assuming this is actually all blocked. Okay. So now that I think I have an idea of what I would do here, hypothetically, I'm also realizing that I might be overcomplicating this a little bit. Because what if I do purposefully want to take a particular path? And I want to take the long path because I want to fill up the long path with the tiles. Okay, so instead of getting crazy with the math on this, it might be easier for me to stick to the bare bones solution here, where I set a starting coordinate plus some girth, and I just fill in the road tiles as rectangles, which I can then overlay over top of each other. So I can start with a starting point of wherever, somewhere here, a girthiness of 2, and at the ending point will literally just be down here. So it would just be that. And then if I want to expand on that, then I would just do another rectangle over here, and I would just keep going like that. And then down the road, I can make it more complex and have a function that tells me the starting point of the entire road, the end point, wherever that may be, maybe it's down here, and it would just automatically determine the shortest path and just fill up the tiles with the road assets. And then I can figure it out from there. The only thing now that I'm thinking of is if I do that, well, how am I going to determine corner tiles? When I set the original, the first rectangle to be this one, it's going to round out the bottom left corner and the bottom right corner because it assumes that's the end of the road. Same with the top. Then when I go over to the right, it's going to round out the first 2 tiles over here because it's assuming this is also just one road, but that's not actually the case. You'd want this to match up with this road up here. Oh. Okay. This might be annoying, but how would I handle that? What's up, Dandy? Good to see you. Dandy on Twitch. Hey, Hassan, thank you for the follow. I just noticed you gave me a follow on the Twitch side 20 minutes ago or so. I appreciate it, Hassan. It's very kind of you. Good to see you, man. By the way, if you're not following Hassan on X, just while I think this out, I'm just gonna give a shout out to Hassan Judy on X, on Twitter, formerly known as Twitter. He's a really smart guy. He posts a lot of stuff. He has a lot of good takes. That's what I'm trying to say. He's got some really smart takes. Smart guy, and he's one of us. He really believes that things have become like ridiculously stupid in the tech industry, and that a lot of things should be done away with. And he and I have disagreed on a few things and got in heated arguments and whatnot, but he's a solid guy. Definitely give him a follow. You should be following him. He's also doing a video series building out his own UI framework in Odin, and it's pretty cool to watch. He's got really far. I think it's been like his 3rd stream today, and he's gone really far with it. So it's definitely worth a follow. Playing chess, wasting time, losing infinite ELO. Yeah, Dandy. Good. That's what I want to hear. Why is it called a take when it's something you give? Hardy har har. Hardy har har with your dad jokes. Dandy over here thinking he's hot shit with his dad jokes. Dandy, you're not even a dad, are you? Not even a dad, pretending to uncle jokes. I knew it. I knew it. If you were a real dad, that joke would have been off the charts hilarious, but that was definitely an uncle joke. Let's put it that way. Man, I can't come up with a good way to deal with that. Um I might just have to resort to making the roads more manual than by function, like by some kind of like mathematical function to auto generate them for me. Crap, that kind of sucks though. Not a dad, but I have about 10 nieces and nephews. Yeah, it's what are you, Greek? Sounds like a Greek family to me, straight up. Okay, so then I guess what I should do is just write a function to do a starting point and an ending point for a road. If I pick a girthiness of 1, it's just going to do this. Just single direction. I pick a direction, up, down, left, right, whatever it is, and it will lay it out in the given direction. If I pick a girthiness of 2, then it's just going to do this and this, or whatever tile is appropriate to go side by side. And then I'll just have to go in and manually overwrite any coordinate on the given layer that needs to be a edge case road, like one of these, like a corner. I'll just have to go in and do it manually. That's really zoomed in. You know what I'm realizing? Just look deeply into their eyes. They're dead inside. They're all dead inside. They've given up. They hate this code. They hate the tech industry as much as I do. My parents just got divorced way too many times. Okay. Yeah, fair. Yeah, many such stories. Are you trying to make the road layouts or some property of the road tiles? I'm just I have a function now that I just created that will automatically lay out land with the corners and the edges if I just pass in starting coordinates and a size. So it does it for me, and then I just map it to a tile. So that's great. That's how I got the big green land square working. And and buildings are going to be very similar. I already have a building function kind of like figured out a bit, so I can create these buildings. So I was just trying to come up with a way to do it for roads. That way, all I have to do is use the function, pass in a few parameters, and have a thing stamped onto whatever layer I want, so that I can render that. But roads are annoying. Buildings, I think, are pretty easy. Land, as long as it's rectangular, that's also pretty easy. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm going to have this problem on the overworld. I'm going to have the exact same problem of roads in the global world when you're sailing around the world like this. These are all non-uniform shapes. And if I want to automate or semi-automate via function where to place the world tiles, I can't do it solely based on starting point XY size. I have to come up. I have to come up with something. This is probably a problem that's already been fixed with auto tiling and stuff. We might be entering auto tile territory. Could you make the roads part of the building piece? And then if you place buildings in such a way, all the roads will line up. Maybe with a second pass to fix up dead ends. I could do it. I thought about that in my head, not out loud. But then I had this thought. What if you want to have a building like this, right? And then over here, you want to put in like a garden with some flowers. And so I'll pull the value out of layer 2. I'll go pull the road. I'll set the value. So what if you want your road to actually start over here? And so this building might be exactly duplicated the way it is, but it's going to have a garden on the left-hand side, which means the road has to go over here. Or what if you want to have even more spacing for some other reason that's not attached to the building? I kind of want to deal with things in isolation as much as possible, if that makes sense. What's up, Mike? Yo, I started learning React recently. I don't think there is any more perfect framework. Mike, you're getting a timeout for that? What are we working on? That road looks like roof tiles. It looks like your mom. You get a timeout, Mike. Oh, 600 seconds? No, I didn't mean to do that. 600. I untimed you out, Mike. I meant to do like 3 seconds, and I didn't put it in proper, so it was like 600 seconds. Sorry, Mike. I know, Mike. I know you're kidding. It's a good joke. There is no. We got to trump it, right? We have to do the Trump thing with React. React's the perfect framework. It's perfect. There is no better framework. Many have been saying the framework is perfect. React is perfect. Let me tell you, many are using it. I agree. React is perfect. The only thing more perfect is everything else in the universe. I'm just optimistic about everything being perfect. Do you guys, you know what? I have a very interesting article that I'm going to do on the next Enlightened programming stream coming soon. Check this out, boys. Bro, about ripped my head off. Check this out, boys. Stop using and recommending React. Oh, I cannot wait to read this on the next Enlightened programming stream. It's going to be good. A man after my own heart here. Anyway, I won't read it here because this is a chill stream. I'm not going to have time to do a proper Enlightened programming stream, but it's coming up. It's coming up. I've got some stuff lined up for it. It'll be a good one. Because, yeah, screw React. We've ruined the entire industry. The fact that anybody ever took React seriously just proves how insanely awful everything else web-based is for that to appear reasonable. Yes. Yes. 100%. Web development has been my bread and butter pretty much since I started making money in the industry. But I have never been under any illusion that it serves a particular purpose and it should stay in its lane for that purpose. And if you stick to its intended purpose fundamentally, it's not too bad. But it's really easy. Like it's super easy to escape the fundamental purpose of web development and make it into a Frankenstein terrible, like The I'm not entirely sure what I'm trying to say here, but it's something along the lines of it's really, really easy to screw up something that's like kind of decent and has its use cases. And the entire concept of React, Vue, Svelte, Lit, Solid, Next, npm modules, Node on the back end, like all of these things, like JavaScript on the back end, React server components, all of this stuff. It's a self-report. People who think these are good things are just self-reporting for their own incompetency. They're just clinging on to anything that shows up and claims to save them at this point. Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing, and they're doing it with AI. People who hype up AI are doing it because they need AI. That's what's going on. They need it. They desperately need AI. Same with me and microservices and cloud native. Yeah. Not you. Yeah. By the way, I redeemed the Yoshi hat last stream and you did wear it. So what's good? My boys, I didn't wear it. There you go. I've been researching HTTP request smuggling and tunneling. Might be the most technical argument against microservices and distributed cloud computing. Yeah, I do microservices cloud for a living, but I'm seeing the downsides firsthand. Yeah, HTTP request smuggling and tunneling is, yes, microservices and distributed cloud computing they escalate the risk of you suffering from those issues, HTTP request smuggling and tunneling in particular, by quite a bit, because they just increase the number of requests and endpoints that you can infiltrate into in order to cause problems. And that's not to speak of the actual problems with synchronization, for example, is a huge issue when you have a pub subsystem with microservices. The security is obviously always a big issue. Your costs are also an issue because you're never truly 100% sure whether one microservice is going to operate in a particular way or not. It's almost like an extreme. You almost live in extremes in the microservice world. There's never like a nice sweet spot in microservice world. It's always things are either crazy out of hand or very, very strict and narrow. Whereas the way that we've been doing it since the dawn of time, which is mostly monolithic for the most part, has always been kind of like in my opinion, the right compromise of all of these issues. Because any problem you're going to have it in one place. And you just run that thing. And maybe you run that thing on multiple instances, but even then, you're still only running one thing. And you can generally understand what that one thing does either once or a few times chained together. It's much easier to reason about than having a bunch of little things spread out everywhere and then trying to figure out how to manage all that. I think it was just terrible. It was just a terrible, terrible idea. That's kind of the anyway, yeah. Layering cloud services that the dev has no control over opens up the back end to a ton of vulnerabilities. It's freaky. Yeah, and it opened the door for, it opened the door for a lot of other things, but it was mostly an answer to the stupidity of front end. The way that front end became stupid opened the door to, we need microservices. So it was just stupid on top of stupid. I was randomly browsing my home directory recently and I was like, wait, what are all these cache folders? Turns out that between Gradle, Cargo, NPM, and NuGet, I had 10 gigs of cached packages on my system for languages I've only ever used once each. Yes. Yeah, and we went through this on one of the previous streams we went through the NPM, what do you call it? Publishing sizes, like how big, how many how many npm modules are published on npm over time. And it's a huge increase. And then you look at the dependencies of some of the top downloaded npm modules, at least for 2023, and it was huge. Like, we're talking like in the order of 5 to 10,000 dependencies for a single module. And so you spread that out, you can see how quickly all of these things spiral out of control. And you end up with 10 gigabytes of dependencies to do what? You're certainly not doing 10 gigabytes worth of features or functionality. Right? Like, there's no way. Surely all of those deps have been reviewed by qualified security experts, right? Yeah. Yeah, of course they have. Yeah, so here, I found, we were having a hard time finding this data, but I found it. Well, I found some of it. You can see total packages indexed in npm, and it's just steady up. From 2017 to 2019, we've gone from about 40,000, I guess. No, 300 to 400,000, and 2019 we're well over 1 million. That's not too long ago. The number of npm packages downloaded in 2019. It's huge. And this is what, six-ish years ago? So what, do you think the numbers are getting smaller or bigger? What the hell are we doing? Like, think of, this is essentially microservices in code form. And all it's doing is blasting the seed of incompetency all over the internet, because these packages get used everywhere. Are you using React Native? You're probably using npm modules. Are you using React Server Components? You're probably using npm modules. Are you using Vite, whatever the hell it's called? You're probably using npm modules. Are you using Node on the back end on a microservice? You're probably using npm modules. Are you using GraphQL? You're probably using npm modules. Are you using Svelte or Vue? You're probably using npm modules, etc., etc., etc. All of these things massively, exponentially introduce issues. And that's why I've been doing the enlightened programming stuff, because it's crazy to me that somehow we think this is okay. June 2019 was pre-COVID. Imagine how many got added when people were home bored. Yeah. And we know that during COVID, hiring ballooned in the tech industry because there were more people at home. So you can imagine kind of like a snowball effect. More people are at home. They watch like Twitch more, for example, or YouTube more. The demands go up for the infrastructure behind YouTube or Twitch to handle that demand of viewership. We have to hire more people. Let's get more people on board, more people writing code so we can handle a higher load of views. Hey, that's great. But the cost is, yeah, you're going to bring in way more of these insane packages. If XZ can get backdoored, then npm modules are probably backdoored to oblivion. Yeah, not you. 100% they are. And I've gone through news articles and the daily tech news streams that I do, and I've done enlightened programming streams, which have data, actual statistics on the number of npm modules with security issues, which is just, it's insane, and the consequences of those issues. The npm is easily one of the most most least secure package management systems just by sheer numbers in existence in the tech industry. I don't think there are any other package management systems that even come close to it. I might be wrong about that. I so far have not been able to find data to prove that it's anything but the most insecure if you compare it to other package manager systems. It's proliferated with the most deplorable code that should never exist, and additionally the most insecure code because there's so much of it. It's almost a necessity. Like the more code you create, the more insecurities you're going to introduce. It's just kind of like the nature of things. But then you have on top of that, it has like no barrier to entry. Nobody checks these things. You do npm install. You're not going to go read the code for all your npm modules, especially not if it's like 10 gigs. Even if it's 1 gig, you're not, even if it was like 100 megs of node modules, you're not going to go read the code for that. Right? You're not going to do that. So yeah, npm, it's like the worst offender for all these terrible practices, and somehow we think it's okay. It's not okay. I'm content with the fact that I got Spiro's blood boiling enough to lose focus on the game. Listen, it's a chill stream, okay? It's not the win you think it is. Because it's a chill stream, it means that I can be distracted and it's within the acceptable bounds of the stream, all right? Thinking you got me. You ain't got nothing. Okay, right, so I was talking about the issue with world tiles and road tiles being the exact same thing. Like if I wanted to make this with a function, I don't think that makes sense. I think I'm trying to abstract too much. I'm probably suffering from the same brain rot that React developers do, which is just abstract, abstract, abstract. Can I just have one function that rules them all? And then the darkness creates incomprehensible slop. That's probably where my brain's at. I should probably just stick to putting in these values manually and only use functions to lay down tiles in shaped formats when it makes sense to do that. And for roads and stuff, I can just, again, keep it simple. Just pick a direction, a start and an end and a girthiness value, and just do that. I have to stop overthinking this. Yeah. Yeah, I'm overcomplicating it. Okay, cool. So then that's what I'll do then. I'll stick to that. I will pseudocode a little bit. It's okay. I was trying to slip in my recent research on HTTP request smuggling. Okay, not you. I know a little bit about HTTP request smuggling because I've had to do security stuff on AWS before. But why don't go ahead and tell us what you found, or just like shoot a link or something. I'm happy to pull something up on screen. We can talk about it since you're on it. It's an interesting topic. So in this case, I would just do start X, start Y, end X and Y, and then a direction. And I'm going to change this. We're not going to, do not worry about corner edge tiles. We'll skip block coordinates. This is good. Direction will change the tile value I guess that's it. It'll change the tile value. That's all. These ones up here, I believe I wanted to do set up as constants. And the reason why I want to do that is so that I can have an override function for WASM JS boundary editor. So I can override the tile values on demand, like dynamic tile value override. That's why I want these as constants. And then it also makes it easy for me to change it in a central place somewhere in the code so that these values can be altered centrally. I'm thinking, is there anything else I want to do here? I don't think so. I think this is a good start. Animations are going to be an issue. Well, no. WebAssembly does not care how you animate. Or whether you animate at all. It just doesn't care. Yeah, it doesn't care. So the only thing I need to do is just set a tile down. That's it. And then if I want to animate, I do it on the rendering side, which is JavaScript. So if I go back here, if something is being rendered and I want to animate it, I'll set some kind of trigger here. And then I will reach into the atlas coordinates. Yeah, like this. And then run an animation like this. That's what I'll do. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Okay, is there anything else that I want to do? Buildings, I don't have interiors, so I don't need to worry about that. I need to resize the overworld maps before I tackle that. Yeah, I think I'm good. So now what I can do, let's just see very quickly if we can get this to work. We'll kind of take this and we'll just adjust it for the road here. So starting point, ending point, start x plus dx, which would be, well, you know what? I don't want end x. I want size. That's exactly what I want. We'll override the size. Size y will always be 1. I don't like this. There's something I'm missing. Oh, it's direction. Size is not equivalent to girth. And it's also, and then you also have to account for direction to actually get the ending x coordinate. So your direction will determine whether you increment x, y, decrement x, y, do nothing to either one, or increment or decrement both. I have to think about this before I write the code. So direction determines x plus 1, y plus 1, or x, the y plus 1, or y minus 1, you know, etc., etc. Girth is not equal to size. Maybe it is. And I think that's it. I think I just have to figure out girthiness versus size. Okay. Length? The length of the road is probably what we want to do. It's X long. Yeah, okay, that sounds a bit better. The girth would then be in addition to the length. Okay, that's starting to sound better. And your direction would determine what you increment or decrement. That is also starting to sound better. Okay, I think this is... I think this is better now. So if I'm going to do this, then I do want this guy just adjusted a bit. So start X and length Y. Length X. We're going to assume a girth of 1, so we'll just leave it like that. We'll just do this. And our value will be whatever the road is. 99. Layer set value. Layer ID. Nope, wait, that's not right. This is right. Layer ID. And X. And Y. 99. Okay, that's it. We need to pass in a layer ID. We'll start there and see what happens. Generate asset land. We'll go generate a road. Uh-oh, I didn't stick to the naming convention. Generate asset road. There we go. Our starting point will be whatever this is. Or maybe let's do down here. So 5 and 6, and we'll do so start 5, 6, and then we have to do a length, and length X is going to be I don't know. Let's go with 6, and Y will always be 1. Let's start there. Will this even compile? Have I broken something? Will it compile? Too few arguments. Okay, we'll just do that. Okay, that compiled. And that worked. Holy crap. I was kind of expecting more issues with that, but that did work. 12. Yeah. Okay. If I went 1 and let's say 4 on the Y side, then that should go down. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, that's going to help out. That'll create some roads. They might look a little weird, but then I can go in and override the layer value of a particular portion of road with like corner roads and stuff like that. So that's fine. Okay, cool. Cool. And then I got to think about if there's anything else that I want to start laying down, but I don't think there is. I think that's my starting point. I'm going to build some buildings around here. I'll spread out the NPCs. I will let them randomly move around every frame. It might be annoying if they start going into like weird places, but that's fine for now. It'll just be random movement. I'll give them a path after, because I just don't have the layouts set up, so I don't know what path to give them yet. So I'll do that. The ocean battle's a little bit borked, but I'll fix it. I'll fix all these assets. And the sailing's a bit borked too, but I'll fix these too. I just have to resize these. Okay. Okay, not bad. Not bad for a night. Okay, kind of a boring chill stream, but I got something done, and that means I can build out some maps. It's great. So the next serious gaming stream that I do, I'm going to be working on the story a little bit, and you guys can help me come up with some of the story for the game. It'll be good, and maybe some of the mechanics too. It'll be a fun stream. That's it though. That's about all I have time for. Yeah, it's a little bit late. I got to do a few things before I go to bed and do some more work in the morning. But I will be back tomorrow with the daily tech news. As per usual, I might maybe do another stream tomorrow, an extra stream tomorrow, and work on this a bit more. I don't know yet. I don't know when I'm going to do the Enlightened Programming stream, but I have a feeling it's not going to be for another week or two. But at least on the daily, I'll be doing the tech news. So I just want to say that I really appreciate all the people who've been showing up and have been supportive of the stream. It's been... You guys won't believe it. I'm almost at 15,000 subs on YouTube. I'm not joking. I have no idea when that happened. Yeah, but yeah. 14,088. I think it's, yeah, it's on, yeah. That's wild. It's wild. And it's going up like a lot. So I don't know, something got picked up. Definitely some of the stuff, I guess people like the daily tech news. Normally I don't get a lot of views on the daily tech news as I'm doing it. It's normally after, like 1 or 2 days after I do a daily tech news thing, people pick it up. That's great. Like, I'm all for it. So yeah, it's the growth has been wild, but all this to say that I really appreciate all the support, because I really do care about the stuff I'm talking about. You know, quality has gone down considerably in the industry, and I want to see that get raised again. And yeah, I just really appreciate all the people who support that message, and yeah, it's really cool. I appreciate it. Having said that, thank you all. Thanks everybody. Thanks for being here. You guys are awesome. I'm going to call it a night. 2 streams in one day. You guys are lucky. I will see you all tomorrow for the Daily Tech News. I think it's going to be earlier in the day tomorrow, probably around lunchtime-ish, PST. But you guys are great. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll sort out my schedule. I'll talk about my schedule tomorrow at some point. But anyways, that's it. Have a good day. Have a good night, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. I appreciate it. Appreciate you being here and chilling out with me tonight. Peace out, everyone. Thanks, Sheikbot. Have a good night.